Have you ever been in a room, spoken a clear fact, a truth backed by data, by logic, by your own two eyes, and been met with silence? A heavy silence, averting gazes, a sudden change of subject. That feeling, it's both baffling and maddening. It feels like screaming into a pillow. You know you are right, but your truth seems to have no weight, no sound. We often ask ourselves, why won't they listen? Why are they so ignorant and stubborn? But that is the wrong question. It's too simple. The real forbidden question, the one that takes courage to confront, is, did our truth fail because the listener was deaf, or because the truth itself didn't know how to speak? Think of a scientist named Dr. Eris Thorne. Eris spent 3 years developing a new farming method. The method wasn't flashy, it used no breakthrough technology. It was simply a rearrangement of irrigation schedules and crop rotation, based on thousands of data points about soil composition. The results were clear: a 20% increase in yield using 30% less water. Her truth was in the charts, in the undeniable numbers. She took her research to a community of farmers. She presented the slides, the spreadsheets. She explained the logic. She expected enthusiasm. Instead, she was met with skeptical glances and indifference. The next week, someone else came, a salesman. He had no charts. He only had a story. He spoke of a miracle fertilizer from a distant mountain, of a legendary harvest from an old folktale. His story was compelling. It sparked hope. It was easy to understand. By the end of the meeting, the farmers were surrounding the salesman. They bought his product. Eris's research lay alone on the table in silence. That night, Eris wasn't angry. She just felt a profound sense of confusion. Her truth was correct, but it had lost. It had lost to a better story. She realized that human beings don't just run on logic. They run on emotion, on belief, and on narratives. Eris's failure is a common phenomenon, and science has many explanations for it. Psychologically, our brain is not a pure data processing machine. It's a confirmation-seeking machine. This is confirmation bias. We don't seek objective truth. We seek pieces that fit the puzzle we've already built in our heads. The farmers already had a latent belief in a miracle, and the salesman's story confirmed it. Eris's data challenged it. Neuroscience also shows that stories and emotions are processed in older, deeper parts of the brain, like the amygdala, while logic and data are processed in the prefrontal cortex. The emotional pathway is often much faster and more powerful. The salesman was speaking directly to the farmer's old brain. Eris was only speaking to their new brain. And from a sociological perspective, the truth is often complex, nuanced, and requires effort to understand. Whereas lies, conspiracy theories, or simple stories offer a sense of clarity and empowerment. They divide the world into good and evil, us and them. The feeling of belonging to a group that shares a simple truth is often far more appealing than facing a complex reality alone. At this point, a strategy seems to emerge. If you want the truth to be heard, wrap it in a better story. Learn to market the truth. Turn the scientist into a salesman. But that is a dangerous conclusion, and it misses an even deeper reality. Here is the twist. Perhaps the reason the truth isn't heard is not that it lacks a story. It's because we have mistaken correctness for truth. Correctness is what Eris had. It's the data, it's the numbers, it's a verifiable fact. It is a single, isolated musical note. Correctness is cold and objective. Truth is bigger. It is the entire symphony. It includes correctness, but it also includes the context, the emotions, the history, the fears, and the hopes of human beings. It is the reason the music moves us. Eris's research was correct, but it failed because it did not speak to the farmer's truth. And what was their truth? It was the exhaustion from years of hard labor, the distrust of outside experts, the desperate hope for a quick solution, the attachment to tradition, the fear of change. The salesman, though what he said was incorrect, was speaking directly to those truths. Truth is not just what happens, it is also how we feel about what happens. We return to the original question: why does the truth go unheard? Because we often bring our correctness to a dialogue and expect it to win. We're like an uninvited guest who walks into someone's house and points out all its flaws without bothering to ask the owner for the story behind it. A fact can only be heard when it is spoken with empathy, when it acknowledges the listener's truth first. Intellectual maturity is not accumulating more correct facts. It's learning how to connect our correct facts to the complex and emotional truths of others. The job of the truth seeker is not just to find the truth. It is to build a bridge strong enough for the truth to cross. Perhaps the question isn't, why won't they listen to my truth? But, what truth of theirs have I ignored? We have all been Eris, holding a correct fact in our hands, but powerless to convince others. My question for you today is, think of the last time you were in that situation. You knew you were right, but someone else, a friend, a family member, a colleague, would not listen. Now, try to do something difficult. Don't think about your correctness. Try to think about their truth. What fear, what hope, what core belief was making them unable to receive your information? Does understanding that change how you might approach it next time? Please share, because the world is not short on facts. It is short on bridges.